Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we take a look at the astrological energies from July 3rd until July 10th, where overall we have a really lovely week ahead. There's support, there's flow. Yes, there's a few hurdles, there's potentially a boo-boo, and we're going to talk about that. But this is a week where you could feel like you're ready to move forward, feeling like something has been cleansed or cleared out for you. You could feel like you've had this reset in your energy that is lighter, that's uplifting, that has set you free from something that you probably can't quite pinpoint as it relates to a deeper part of your energetic transformation. Now, we've had a lot of big astrology the first half of 2024. I mean, we haven't really had much of a break. We've had a lot coming in, a lot moving through, and depending on your chart, of course, you could feel like the intensity has been really high throughout most of the year. I feel like this is going to be a week where you could have a reprieve, and there could even be some things that invite you into more fun and play and spontaneity. So let's get into what is happening in the cosmos over this next week, because we're starting with July 3rd, which is actually the day of a potential hurdle and required recalibration as Mercury and Leo meets up with an opposition to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius at 1 degrees. Now, on the one hand, Mercury is fast moving, so this isn't meant to be something that lasts a long time, but depending on your chart, especially if you have planets or points at 0, 1, and 2 degrees of the fixed signs, this is going to impact you the middle of the week. And this is where that Mercury in Leo, which is fixated on something that you want, that you need, that connects to who you are and what you are investing in yourself. This is where something you want to say or express is challenged. And that opposition from Pluto is a strong external force that could be a power struggle. For example, this is not a good time for important communications. You know, if something is a really big deal to you, it isn't going to be communicated in the best possible way, or rather, it isn't going to be received. It isn't going to be received how you intend it to be received, because that opposition from Pluto actually stirs up things that you probably never even considered or thought of and creates a contentious energy. And so with the Mercury opposing Pluto, hold back, bite your tongue, sit on it, wait. Don't think that you have to force something, even if the energy feels strong. Rather, this is where it's better to not be pulled into anything that could turn into an argument. And it could be a big deal. It could be difficult and challenging and feel personal, because that Pluto is opposing the Leo energies, which again, it's about what you want. Now, as Mercury moves away from this opposition to Pluto, Mercury is going to make a sextile to Jupiter in Gemini on July 8th. So I'm skipping ahead to July 8th to let you know that that sextile to Jupiter in Gemini at 9 degrees is going to be the yes and the fun, the spontaneity, the joy. That is a beautiful time for communications and for really understanding how to work with the timing of these energies. So again, July 2nd, July 3rd, July 4th, not a great time for having important conversations or even your self-expression, but July 8th is a green light and is a better time for expressing what's on your mind. It's going to be well received, it's going to be more joyful, and it's going to feel lighter. So that's important to take note of here as we move into July, that it will be again around July 8th and 9th that the energy better supports communications, projects, planning, travel. Travel is beautifully highlighted as well. And so is learning. Anything that you're really interested in could really click. Now, as we move into July, we do have the Cancer new moon on July 5th. It is occurring at 14 degrees in your chart when the sun and the moon are conjunct. And this is that reset energy. It's a new beginning in your emotional awareness, in what you are attached to or what you're connected to. Cancer is strong heart energy, and you could feel like you're ready to begin something that feels uplifting and brings about more joy, more happiness. It lifts your spirits. And there's a feeling too that this Cancer new moon could feel like you've been cleansed, like there's something purer rising in you that you're feeling or sensing. And that is something that the Cancer energy really wants. It's even something that the Cancer energy will unconsciously seek out in your daily environment. So you could realize more of what you want to do or feel on a daily basis, more of what you want to bring in to your experiences. There can even be the energy of coming into greater emotional balance, especially related to the heart, to receptivity, to being more in touch with what you're feeling. This is strong feminine energy, and you could feel that you're just more self-aware of your emotional world, of what you want, of what you're sensing and feeling, but it feels different. It has a new freshness or purity to it. I'm trying to describe it as accurately as I can, but what I'm seeing are these beautiful white orbs, like white orbs of light that are refreshed and pure and sparkly new, and they look quite effervescent. So if that resonates with you, these sparkly white orbs could be something that you're also feeling in your emotional body, in your heart space, in a part of your energy that just feels it's lighter and maybe isn't holding emotional density. Now, one thing that comes to mind is that the planets in Cancer have been deeply shifted after the ongoing opposition between Pluto and Capricorn. And so there's something here too where the Cancer energies do have a new lease on life because they're no longer in that tug of war with Pluto in Capricorn. And that was the case since about 2009. So 2009 to 2024, the Cancer energies have been in a very deep power struggle. And I feel like this is important to understand with the Cancer new moon, where this is why you could feel like you've cleared a lot out. You've really done some deep work. You've gotten to the source of your childhood, of family dynamics, of ancestry. You've gotten into more of the emotions that you were holding or carrying that weren't yours. And when that Cancer energy has been cleansed and deeply transformed, not only is the energy lighter, but there's also a new sense of really trusting yourself, trusting what you're feeling, trusting the energy in the environment. This can even feel like you're more psychic and more intuitive in ways that you weren't expecting. So keep in mind that all these energies can be strong during the Cancer new moon on July 5th. Again, it's at 14 degrees of Cancer. And it's also beginning a new lunar cycle, as this new moon now leads to the Capricorn full moon 2 weeks later. So I have done some previous videos and podcast episodes for you on this topic, which is that the lunar cycle is meant to begin with a new moon in a sign. And then over the following 2 weeks, about 14 days later, it reaches its peak illumination with the full moon that should be in the opposite sign. So Cancer is opposed by Capricorn, and this is the energy that we're naturally building to. Will be the Capricorn energies of what we're doing in the world, how we're showing up, where we are taking life seriously and owning our responsibilities, our commitments, the things we need to tend to and be in charge of. This is the typical lunar cycle. But important to note, we were in a lunar reversal since April 2023, where we had a full moon first and then the new moon in the opposite sign. So for example, in May, we had the Sagittarius full moon that happened May 23rd. And then 2 weeks later, it was followed by the Gemini new moon on June 6th. So that is where the lunar cycle was reversed. Now we are having a reset, and it's because we have 2 full moons in Capricorn. So we had on June 22nd, the Capricorn full moon at 1 degree. Now this week, we have the Cancer new moon at 14 degrees on July 5th. And then we have the second Capricorn full moon at 29 degrees of Capricorn on July 21st. So it's those 2 full moons in Capricorn that are allowing the lunar cycle to be reset into its natural flow, its organic harmony. And this is where you could feel like this particular Cancer new moon is a big deal for you. And allow this to be a time of honoring your own energy and your own needs. Cancer is about what comforts us, what feels like home. It is literally your home, your family, people you live with. Cancer is your nest. So you could feel like you're nesting or that you want to take care of matters at home. There's something that's beginning with this new cycle that is significant, and it starts with how you are taking care of your energy and honoring yourself at a new level. Now, at the same time that we have a Cancer new moon, we also have 2 other significant aspects occurring. We have Venus in Cancer squaring Chiron in Aries at 23 degrees. And Venus in Cancer is soft and sensitive. This is the empath, or the highly sensitive person who's highly aware of the energies that they're picking up that are unspoken. And the square to Chiron in Aries can feel like something is too much, that you're feeling highly sensitive, that there is a boo-boo, something that hurts your feelings, something that feels very personal. And this is where you would be best to honor yourself, honor what you need, and to know that it's never personal. It's never personal. People do things from their experience, their perspective, their level of consciousness. And one thing that we learn through the first half of the zodiac wheel, so from Aries to Virgo, the energy is focused on your sense of self, your personal development, and knowing who you are. So the journey through the first half of the zodiac is also a time to look at how well can you detach from your investment in other people's choices. How well can you detach, depersonalize other people's behaviors or actions, what others are doing that is not about you at all, even if it feels that way. Now, yes, easier said than done. And of course, there's no clear lines with this because, for example, when you're sitting in the car with somebody who's driving, obviously you are invested in their decision making and what they're choosing. But I mean, overall, this is a good time to check in on how much of my energy is feeling stronger and clearer in who I am, in the experiences I'm creating for myself. Where yes, other people are going to live their lives and do their things. Other people are going to have their choices, their directions, their opinions. We know this, of course. But what I'm really wanting to help you hone in on is that there's actually a lot of freedom in your ability to detach from others, where you're able to say, okay, this is how we're different, or this is how we live our lives in a different way, or this is what I think and this is what they think, or this is their opinion, this is mine. The more you can separate that out, the more you can feel stronger in who you are and what your journey is about right now. And also call back your energy that could have been courted or leaked or overly invested in another. Now, this is a very interesting dynamic because I know, again, there's no clear-cut way to experience this unless you are a hermit living in the bat cave and you have no family. When you're a parent, you're invested. When you are a child, you're invested. When you're a sibling, like there's naturally people that we're attached to. And Cancer season can bring that up. It can show you some of that unconscious programming of where you are emotionally and energetically invested in other people. And of course, that can be from a loving, caring place. Those can be beautiful heart connections. But this would also be a time to check in on where am I overly focused on what's on their plate or what they're doing. So you could also say, you know what? I'm going to keep my eyes on my own fries. I'm going to come back to center here and look at what is the best use of my energy that supports me. How do I perhaps retract some parts of myself that have been overextended or over-giving, over-accommodating? How do I pull the energy back in here so that I am feeling strong, confident, and grounded in what is best for me, knowing that is my power, that is my true source of life force. And if you were to close your eyes and trust your intuition around where any of those energy cords go or strings or however you're seeing it, you might be surprised at what you're feeling because you might realize, wow, I've been heavily corded to a certain experience, a certain person, a certain something, and it feels like too much. I'm actually getting the energy of mildew that can show up around something, especially if it's not reciprocal, if it's not energetically balanced. And that is important in the Cancer themes, where if you are not receiving the same support or energetic connection that you're giving, then you could start to realize, wow, am I doing too much to keep this alive? Have I moved into a parenting or mothering role with some people and it's draining me? Am I expecting too much from them and never receiving? So there could be some interesting things that come to mind here. And you might also notice, again, if you're sitting with your eyes closed and just trusting visualizations that you're receiving about these energetic cords, you're going to also see the healthy cords, the healthy reciprocal attachments that are good, that you want to keep in place because they are mutual. There's a level of trust and safety with some people in your world who are good for you. You know, those are the cords and energies that you want to continue to grow. And that is something that comes up during Cancer season as well, is that we look at, well, what can grow more? What is healthy and strong? It's identifying where the energy is nourishing and safe. And safety is a very important component to feminine energy. The feminine needs to feel safe, and that is vital to needing to let down any self-protection or let down the guard, let down any hyper-independence, let down anything that wants to keep out danger, quote unquote, anything that appears dangerous. So part of the Cancer themes around what can grow, what is nourishing, is based on safety. Do I feel safe with a person? Do I feel safe in this area, in this job? But more importantly, do I feel safe in my own energy, in this physical body, in this physical world? And this would be a time to look at what you need to feel safer, to feel stronger, because when you live from that place, energy is empowered. You are flourishing and strong and able to be yourself because not only do you feel safe, but you trust who you are. You trust your instincts, you trust your mind and your body and what you're feeling and what you're sensing. So I feel that this is a week where you could have some kind of deeper understandings around these themes, these Cancer themes, and what is working for you, what is working with you, as well as what you have outgrown and what you're moving away from. Now, we're not done talking about July 5th, where in addition to the Cancer new moon and Venus in Cancer squaring Chiron in Aries, we also have Mars in Taurus sextiling Saturn retrograde in Pisces at 19 degrees. And this is the energy of patience, determination, allowing things to show up that you're not forcing. There is a deeper level of trust here that what you are working towards and investing in is going to pay off. Slow and steady wins the race. Mars in Taurus sextiling Saturn is also where you could feel that you're being guided by something bigger than yourself, that you just have an intuitive connection with that is clear and certain. And so this is a trusting influence. And you could also have a sense of, this is the right choice, this is the right direction, this is the right way to continue on, and you have the dedication to do so. So again, really lovely energy for the most part on July 5th. And then on July 8th, that's when we have Mercury in Leo sextiling Jupiter in Gemini at 9 degrees. And also on July 8th, Venus in Cancer sextiles Uranus in Taurus at 25 degrees. So we have both Venus and Mercury receiving a sextile from an outer planet, which is encouraging. It's a pat on the back. It's the opportunity to move towards something. It can also be a light influence, meaning it might be something that just shows up and it's a quick yes. It's the energy of a delightful surprise, things connecting and coming through, but it could be that softer influence that you just don't notice it at first. It's easy to take it for granted with the sextiles, especially with Venus in Cancer and Mercury in Leo. But overall, July 8th is a very positive day for moving things forward and perhaps feeling like things are showing up that enhance your day, that make the day even better and even happier. And then finally on July 10th, the Sun in Cancer trines Saturn retrograde in Pisces at 19 degrees. Now, this energy did start with that Cancer new moon on July 5th. So 5 days later, when the Sun is now in an exact trine to Saturn, there is greater stability, greater structures available. There could be something that locks in where whatever you intended on that Cancer new moon now clicks and shows up. There's validation and affirmation here on that July 10th energy. And there's something that could prove itself. It demonstrates that it is valid and true. July 10th is also a great day for trusting what you need to guide you forward. Because this is occurring in the water signs, the Sun in Cancer trining Saturn retrograde in Pisces, there could be something validating of your intuition where you're saying, I knew it. Yes, that's right. That's what I thought. That's what I felt. That's what I sensed. So that is always encouraging and positive, a very nice pat on the back from the universe. It can also be a helping hand that someone shows up to assist you. That would be represented by Saturn being a mentor, someone with more experience who guides you forward, who sheds light on what you are wanting or investing in. And there can be greater ease and flow here in the water signs with this trine between the Sun and Saturn. So after this Cancer new moon, the energies are moving us forward. It could feel softer and calmer, but there's also a sense of take it easy, give yourself a break, allow the universe to support you, and allow yourself to trust on a deeper level of your being. Because things can definitely connect and come through, especially if they are for your best and highest good. And that is one of the high notes of Saturn in Pisces, even Saturn retrograde in Pisces. If it's for your best and highest good, if it really demonstrates your spiritual mastery and your ascension, Saturn will bring it in. Saturn will say yes to that. That is going to be good for you. That supports you. That's a reward for everything you've been working on and working through. So even though Saturn gets a lot of hard knocks, because Saturn brings about our challenges and our reality checks in the physical world, Saturn wants to reward you for a job well done. There is recognition and accomplishment that comes with the Saturn energy signature. And with the Sun trining Saturn again on July 10th, there could be something that feels like that level of accomplishment or validation. So overall, the energies this week are supportive and positive. And of course, this is individual for each of us. And I just touch on the general cosmic weather that is happening in the collective. And I hope that this helps you plan for the week ahead, as well as gives you a heads up into how to make the most of any downtime that you might have available to you. Any time to rest, to do less, to take it easy, take a break. All of that is also supported as we move through these first 10 days of July. Now, just to give you some more energy to anticipate and plan around, the middle of July next week is more dicey. The energy is more turbulent. And it's stirring up stuff that we're going to be feeling and sensing from July 10th to July 17th. Of course, I'll be doing a show on that next Wednesday. But just to give you a heads up, this is the time period to enjoy things as you can, because the middle of July, things are stirred up, and we're going to have Mars conjunct Uranus and Taurus, plus the Sun in Cancer squaring Chiron, and Venus and Leo opposing Pluto. So each of those is a discomfort, is a surprise, is something that we feel is working against us. And I feel like this is a week to enjoy it, to work with the energy, to also allow yourself again to feel lighter and to look at where you are emotionally corded. And if those cords are healthy, strong, and true, or if, again, there's some things that you need to dissolve, you need to retract and pull back because it isn't a healthy energy or a healthy dynamic that makes you feel safe, strong, and powerful. Oh, I meant to mention at the beginning of the show that I've pre-recorded this particular podcast episode. So if there were any big solar flares or big activity on the sun and I'm not discussing it, it's because this is pre-recorded since I have some other plans happening on Wednesday of this week. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back every Monday and Wednesday for another podcast episode. I did release for you on Monday, July 1st, an overview of the energies of this month. So do listen to that if you're looking for a heads up on how July will unfold. And I hope that helps you take advantage of these energies as we move through Cancer season and into Leo season. Wishing you a beautiful Cancer new moon. I hope it is nourishing and comforting for you, however that might be. And I look forward to connecting with you again here soon for another astrology podcast. Take good care, and I'll see you back here next week.